There has always been this, let's say, great competition between US and Europe. Where man can live better, or what is the greatest? Well, I'm not going to call Europe a country, but let's say the place to live, the greatest place to live in the world. And of course, American always say that America is the greatest place or the greatest country in the world. But what and why would an American move to Europe then?
That is a really great question. And I actually get asked that probably at least once a week whenever I meet someone from Australia.
Have you already been asked this week, or this was the first time?
This is the first time this week, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think it's funny how often I get asked that, because I think the media or movies or something portray America
Or
as,
Trump.
yeah. They portray America as just like this amazing place, and it is, but also Europe has just as much amazing things to offer. So we moved here. We say the reason we were able to come is for my husband's job, but really we moved here for the travel and the beauty and all the opportunities that Europe offers for us to see. So
Were you searching for something so you could move here, or this offer just popped up and you said, that's perfect, we're going to take it because it's Europe and we love it?
A little bit of both. At my husband's previous job in New Mexico, he knew someone who had also done this position here in Vienna, and he said it was amazing. We loved it. We were only going to stay for 2, and we stayed for 8 years. And so we said, okay, we'll try it. So it kind of popped up. He applied for it. We didn't hear anything for over a year because of COVID, so we didn't even we weren't even thinking about it anymore. He had graduated college. He was starting his new job. And just one day he got an email and he said, brush up on your German. So
well, they asked him to speak German?
Or not him. He was telling me to brush up on my German because I took in high school, but I don't remember much of it.
So now do you speak some German, or?
So I'm taking classes, so I'm in Atzfei.
Oh, right. Let's see. Now hell is starting.
What was that?
Hell is starting now. After Atzfei, that's when hell starts.
Exactly.
That's nice. That's pretty nice. So this is Jo. I'm gonna first call her as an outdoor enthusiast, but she actually also works in the outdoor business or field. How should I call it? How do you prefer it?
The outdoor industry.
Outdoor industry. She's from the United States, as you can tell. She was born in the area of Utah and New Mexico, or Utah or New Mexico. How is that?
I lived in Utah and New Mexico for like the past 10 years. I was actually born in Ohio.
Oh,
in the Midwest.
All right. So, and how is it? Because I heard many songs about that, about Midwest and stuff. Is it really with people carrying shotguns down under their pillows, or?
Maybe some parts of it. I was in a very like suburban, just like area outside of Columbus, so a little more, city like. But
you have your own blog. Which is also your Instagram page, or those are two different things, or which one you consider more your blog?
Probably more Instagram at this point. My blog is relatively new, so it's not super all-inclusive. Instagram is where I keep things more up to date.
And it's a outdoor travel blog mostly, not the kind of blog where you go to an hotel and promote the spa or pool. It's more you go outdoors in the mountains.
Yeah, just more getting outside, hiking.
How long have you been doing this?
I would say I started developing the love for the outdoors like in high school, and then it's when I moved to Utah for college, and the outdoors in the Western United States are amazing. So that's when I really realized my love for the outdoors. So probably since 2011, so over a decade now at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
How is it looking so far? Like, how do you, in a sense, manage? How am I going to call it? How do you manage to stay alive with this thing? just to go.
Stay safe, basically.
Not in the safety sense. In the sense, how do you make a living out of this? Because one thing is for sure, there are many people doing the same things right now.
Yes.
So how do people manage to pay their bills with a blog? Do you also have a regular daily job besides this, or how does it work?
Yeah, so if people make a living off of it, I would like to know, because I definitely don't. That's why, I mean, my day-to-day job is social media management. I just happen to do that for an outdoor guide company. It's actually a guide company that I guided for in Utah. So now I work remotely for them. But as far as like my Instagram and my blog go, I really haven't monetized them at this point. A little here and there, like sometimes I've worked with brands and a few things here and there, but it's definitely not like a lucrative thing.
So it's
at this
still
point.
kind of a hobby.
Yeah.
Then time to time pays off.
Yeah, basically. So I'm trying to move in that direction. I would love to. It's a lot of work, and you have to be really dedicated to it. So,
what do you mostly miss about the States since you moved to Vienna?
Mexican food.
Really?
Yeah.
You like Mexican food?
I love Mexican food.
Oh. Which one is your favorite? I hate Mexican food.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
the tapas.
I mean, probably just like a good old fashioned burrito. Like,
Ooh.
and I know that they have some options here, but they're just not.
They're
as good.
not the same.
Not as good. And we moved here from New Mexico, and they're famous for their green chili and just like a smothered green chili burrito. Oh,
nice. I hate Mexican food, but that sounded very delicious. But what is something that you are really trying to find here that you always used to find in the US but you can't? Could be friends, could be some special food, places.
Yeah. So actually the first thing that comes to mind is
huge apartments.
Yeah. Well, two things. First is air conditioning. I miss the frequency of air conditioning. And the second thing is the desert landscape. I feel like the parts of Europe I've been to so far, at least.
Well, you can go to Meidling at 2 a.m. It's pretty much a desert there.
Yeah. So that's actually what I've been missing a lot lately, is because I don't know if you know, but Utah it's half mountains, but it's also half desert. And then like Arizona, Colorado, Colorado has some desert too, but New Mexico, mostly a desert landscape.
Yeah.
And so I've come to love the desert just as much as I love the mountains. So I really miss the desert right now.
Do you go there often? Do you go back home often?
So we haven't been home in the year that we've been here.
Since you moved here, you haven't gone back?
No. So we actually plan to go later this year because my husband's sister just got engaged. So we'll go back.
Congratulations.
For the wedding. Yeah, we're excited.
Nice. So you waited for this to go back to your hometowns?
Honestly, kind of, because with his work, after the first year, he gets a nice like home leave type deal where they'll pay for the flights and stuff. So yeah, we've kind of been holding out to use them for something important.
I see. But what is it? Because I talk to many people that live in Vienna, but they are mostly from either European countries or third world countries. And most of them have big issues to move here because of visa things. And how is it when you're a US citizen? Is it easy? Or depends on who's hiring you?
So yeah, I think that's a key. I think it depends how and why you're coming here. You know, if you're trying to come as a student or just like on a work visa, I think it's similar to other countries where there's a ton of paperwork and waiting. We were super lucky with my husband's job in the fact that just because it's for the United Nations, the process is a little less complicated. We actually don't have to have work visas to be here.
You just move and that's it? You just get the Meldezettel?
So we actually don't even have a Meldezettel.
Oh, yeah, you shouldn't say that out loud.
I know. According to the United Nations, we don't need one.
Because it's a neutral area or something? It's because of that? The United Nations, or
possibly, I don't know, or maybe just, I think because he works for the UN, he has some like diplomatic kind of exceptions.
Right.
So that is one of them. And then not needing the visa. So that, and then also, of course, his job helped us a little bit with the moving process, those kind of things. So all in all, very lucky.
It was smooth.
And pretty smooth. Yeah, really can't complain.
That's very kind. That's very nice.
Yeah.
And what was the thing that you struggled the most once you moved? Because even though you're coming from the States, you're American, the visa process, let's say, was smooth. Well, still should be something down there that you didn't like or you struggled. Maybe German?
Yeah, so it's absolutely the German. Just because in America, they don't emphasize language learning, and it's such a pity. And I did take German in high school for a couple years, but of course I thought, when will I ever use this? And
there you go.
Yeah, and I totally forgot most of it. So that's the hardest part for me. I enjoy trying to learn it, but in day-to-day life, especially at the beginning, it was very like stressful and like anxiety inducing for me to like have to try and communicate with people, because I didn't want people to think, oh, like typical American just showing up and, expecting us to like cater to her or whatever. That's not my mentality.
That's what we think, yes.
No, really. I mean, I know that a lot of people kind of think, oh, great. So I am really trying to learn and use it whenever I need to, because I don't want to be that person, So
it was this period when you go to the cashier in a supermarket and you ask her, do you speak English? And she just told you the price or
so
something.
I as often as I can, I really try not to like ask people that, or you know, or at least speak my few sentences of German that I know, and then if I really am lost, maybe I'll explain to them.
Are you getting along pretty well with English here? Do you get English speakers everywhere?
Yes and no. Like in Vienna, obviously, like there's some more English. However, we do live in a village just outside of Vienna.
Which one?
Langensersdorf. It's one stop outside of Strebersdorf towards Stockerall.
All right.
So it's smaller, and it's...
You coming from there now?
Yeah.
Is it far? Did I make you?
No. It's 35 minutes on the train.
Okay, that's how far I live as well. That I live inside Vienna.
Yeah. So it's great.
Okay.
So I do have to use more German out there because it's an older population. It's not Vienna. So that does force me to use German.
Maybe this is better for you so you can practice.
Yeah. At the beginning I thought, no, but if I do have to admit that it helps me practice. Yeah. So it's good.
You also mentioned that you're a personal trainer. And personal trainer for what?
Yes, so I am a certified personal trainer for fitness. So I got my certification actually pretty shortly before we moved here, because I didn't know we were moving. So I do a little bit on the side with that, where I just create fitness programs for people, primarily women trying to lose weight.
How about men trying to gain weight? I'm not talking about the one you have in front of you right
now. I am capable of making programs for people in that scenario. It's not typically what I do, but I would be able to do that as well.
Would you do one for me, please?
Sure.
I will pay you.
Sure, I totally will.
I have 55 cents with me right now.
I'll take it.
And how is it working? Are you trying to get something with that here in Vienna? Are you working in gym? Have you ever worked in gym here? Or you don't really? Do you go? I mean, your certificate allows you also to go in the gyms and be with people?
That's a great question. I actually have not checked if the certification would work for a gym here, purely because I don't speak German. I haven't really thought about applying to work at a gym here. That's kind of the big factor. But I have worked just kind of casually with a few people here, and with people back home, I'll write programs or something. So I haven't used it to like its full extent since I've been here, but the knowledge is great. And
I think it's a great certification, and I think it also might pay out very well.
Yeah, yeah,
Because not only in gyms, but you can get in touch with people, with
yeah,
many people who'd like to do that with a personal trainer because they don't want to go to the gym. They might feel a little bad about their weight, so they don't want to go to the gym. They might have personal gyms at home.
yeah,
And Vienna is a place for that because there might be many, many people like that here.
yeah.
So maybe it's also something you can orientate your blog or something to, so
Yeah.
people can get to know you about this. Because I wouldn't have said that if you wouldn't have told me that.
Right, right. And that is something I've been meaning to do, honestly, is start incorporating more of a fitness aspect into my Instagram and blog. So I just,
But did you have a chance to practice in the US as a personal trainer?
no, just because I got the certification
Right before.
we moved here. But I've worked as a health coach, and my degree is in exercise and wellness. So the background has been there for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you said you tried to travel and explore Europe with your husband. Can you mention any places you've been so far?
Yeah. We've
Before you start, is this when you moved here was the first time that you were coming to Europe, or you've been here before?
I had been to Europe briefly. I'd been to England twice, and I'd been to Frankfurt once.
Frankfurt counts. England
not as
officially counts, but there's a feeling that UK doesn't really belong to Europe. It's more like a separate thing.
Yeah. So in that light, that was it.
And it actually looks more like the US in the UK.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really truly hadn't been much to Europe.
How about recently? Where you've been?
So we have recently we've been to Italy. Of course, my brain is going blank.
Well, we went working all day.
We went to Greece over the holidays. One of our favorite places has been Slovenia. Actually, it's really beautiful. But yeah, we've been to Slovakia, Hungary, Czech Republic.
Yeah.
And next,
which one you like the most?
I think, okay, probably top of the list.
Which one?
Probably the Dolomites in Italy.
Dolomites.
Yeah. Probably the most gorgeous mountains I've been to, or at least top of the list. But I would say the one I've been most surprised by, like I didn't expect it to be as amazing as it was, is Slovenia.
Oh.
Very, very beautiful. Yeah. And it's not too far. It's like a 4-hour drive from here. Yeah.
That's pretty nice. But do you get this feeling since you moved to Vienna and now that you're exploring different parts of Europe? After some time, don't you see like there's still a similar style, and it's not worth going in some places anymore because you're just gonna see a few different buildings and that's it? You're not gonna really try. I mean, except Italy and France and maybe Greece. Which one has a different kitchen that you can try something there, or because don't they get kind of similar after some time?
Yes and no. I see what you're saying, because I think like with the cities, sometimes everything
they all have the same plots in the middle. Buildings.
Yeah, I have gotten that sense with some of the cities, but usually when we're traveling, we are going for more of the outdoor aspect.
Okay.
So we usually,
that's why.
So I will say I do still think all of the platzes and the old cities, I still am very enchanted by them, but that's because we really have nothing like that in the United States.
Yeah.
So to me, it still is always beautiful, but yes, I can see how if you've lived here for a long time, you're like, like it's all kind of the same.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But to be a little more in the current of the situation, I would also like to have an opinion of you as an American who has stayed outside wars many times, or at least in the Second World War, if I'm not mistaken. America was outside. How do you feel about the situation? Or not, maybe you don't want to express what you feel, but what do you think about it? How this should go and how this might go?
Yeah.
This is just, you don't have to be politically correct. You can just say whatever you think.
Right. I mean, I probably can't say a ton because I'm not like the most educated on the subject, you know.
I'm not either, don't worry.
I mean, obviously, I think it's terrible and totally unnecessary and, I mean, just sickening, basically. Yeah. It is interesting to kind of hear and see what our friends and family at home, like the information that they're getting about it versus the information we get here, just the different news sources.
For example, can you give an example? I was going to ask you, what do people see in the US?
And I can't remember which news outlets specifically, but basically it seems like they get a lot of what's the word? Maybe exaggerated portrayal, basically things to really tug at your heartstrings, and not that it isn't like horrendous and should be tugging at your heartstrings, but maybe just some exaggerated information. But I also think
clickbait titles, stuff like this.
Yeah, you know, stuff that gets likes and reads and whatever. But I think we also get some of that here too. So I can't really speak to it other than, you know, it is just interesting to see that, but it's horrible. And I think a lot of I don't know. I don't want to go too much into it, but
yeah, I was going to ask you still, what do Americans think, and how, let's call it, how famous is this thing in the US? Because here in Europe we can't help but notice it every minute of our days now. But the US is very far. News, even though the internet doesn't travel that far always.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it has been interesting for us to be here for this because you're right, like I've never really been close to anything like this really. And so I know how my friends and family at home feel, like they know it's terrible, but they also feel like there's not much they can do, and there's kind of this disconnect because it feels so far away. But for me, it's...
So they are mostly like, yeah, we're sorry, but I'm going to work anyway.
Right.
This is how it is?
I mean, kind of, because, I mean, other than maybe like donating to causes, or like what can they really do, you know?
Of course. But, yeah. But here you still have a feeling like you should do something because you're close?
Yeah, I do feel like that. I think a lot of people here do feel like that.
Yeah.
And that's been really cool to see how the EU and how people in Austria really are putting forth as much effort as they can to volunteer. I'm on a lot of like the local Facebook pages, and every day it's just people saying, how can we help? Like, this is what we need. Here's what, you know, as refugees come. Yeah. So it's been humbling and just, you know.
How far would you go to help them? Or you can't say it until it comes?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to help. We're on some texting list for people who need transport and for people who need housing. So we've given a couple rides, and actually through church we've like made some meals for people as they've come. So we try to stay on top of those texts and see like where we can help with stuff like that. So
you think this is gonna last, or you think this is just how the pandemic started and we said, it's just gonna take a couple of months?
Yeah, I hope not long at all.
That's what you hope, but I want to know what you think.
with Ukraine specifically, you mean? How long do you think?
With this war.
It's hard. I mean, obviously, I can't.
Because it might be a prediction, and you will be famous later that you've said it first.
I think if it doesn't end soon, then it's gonna drag out. You know, so it's either gonna be like 1 month or
or
a
10
year.
years?
Yeah, a year or something. I don't know. I don't know. I
You
don't
think
know
it's
anything.
coming in other countries of Europe?
I really hope not.
That's what you hope. Now I want to know what you think.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't say.
All right. All right. Well, I think we are pretty safe here in Austria. It's a pretty strong country.
Yeah, yeah.
Going back to you being an international in Vienna, how is it going with friends? Which is something I think we all miss from our home countries, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We miss all of our friends in the States. I feel like we've been really lucky. I feel like social media and Instagram specifically has really helped me find friends here. And I was fortunate that actually when I moved here, I had a friend from Utah who lives here in Vienna. She is married to an Austrian, and so they live here. So she was kind of able to, we've been able to hang out, and she's introduced me to some of her friends. So we've met some really great people that way. And then also through social media, I've made friends who are Austrian and otherwise. And through the outdoors as well. You kind of look for people who do those similar things that you can do them with.
Yeah.
So we actually feel really lucky.
Since you're talking about social media and since you're also working with social media, what is it that people like to see from you, or what makes you post things that they gonna like for sure, or what makes you a good social media manager?
Yeah. Do you mean for my personal account or for the job?
Let's say for the job.
Okay.
Because I believe the personal account is more flexible and you can also post things that you like, but maybe not everyone will like. But when it's a job, you have to do the opposite, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the company I work for, it's pretty niche, right? It's like an outdoor guide company in southern Utah. It's in Zion National Park.
So we can take it step by step.
Mm-hmm.
What do outdoor guides do in Utah, for example? What do they take you? What is to be seen in Utah?
Great question. So, it's located in Zion National Park. It's like this gorgeous red rock kind of high desert area. The primary tours that we do there is slot canyons. And we also do jeep tours, guided hiking. We take people into the national park. What else do we do? Horseback riding, stuff like that. But our big ones right now are the slot canyons and the jeep tours.
You used to work here before moving to Vienna?
Yeah.
So you used to do the tours on your own as well?
Yeah.
You used to drive jeeps and horses?
Not horses. They had people specifically for that. But I for 2 years or 2 summers, I was actually primarily a canyoneering guide. Mm-hmm. So in the state, that's when you go through the slot canyons with people, and you like rappel through them and hike through them.
So you just drive like crazy a jeep, or you just drive slowly, showing things around?
A little bit of both, depends on the audience.
I see.
But usually I would drive them in a jeep to the slot canyons, and then we'd rappel through the slot canyon and then take the jeep back.
Yeah. So to go back to what you post on social media, how do you define what's needed for them to see? Or
so obviously I kind of have like the content of our guided activities, so I just have lots of videos and photos that I get from my marketing manager. He either takes video and footage himself, or he hires people to do it for the company, and then I get that content from them, and then from there I kind of create content mostly based on trends. Like right now reels are really big, I think.
Which ones?
Reels. I think Sebastian talked to you about the short videos.
Okay.
On
oh, that's what you call the reels?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now reels are really big on Instagram, so I adapt our content to that, and I make short videos. And then I also do static posts, just normal photos as well.
Do you work a lot with identifying or putting on paper keywords? That's mainly your job, or? so you can be clickable and foundable.
Oh, like for like hashtags and
yes.
stuff. Yeah, I do that as well. Basically anything related to like how they find the posts and how to optimize how far they'll be seen and how far their reach will be. I do all of that as well. I do all aspects of the posting.
You do like scheduling of the posting, because I think of also the time differences could be a little problematic, or
yeah, it was at the beginning a little bit, but now I'm on a good schedule where
because you don't sleep anymore.
no. I post at 4 p.m. our time, or approximately, which is like 8 a.m. their time. So it's at the beginning of the day is a good time.
That's scheduled, I presume, or
no, I usually
wake up at 4.
Oh no, I'm sorry, 1600. 4
okay.
4 in the afternoon,
okay.
1600. Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
European time.
So I usually do that on my own, but I also do schedule some posts sometimes. I do a little bit of both. So
I see.
Yeah.
And what is the hardest thing about your job? Or
I think the best part and the hardest part is that it's remote, because it's so great and flexible that it's remote, but also sometimes I want to be there to get the exact content that I want. Like because trends move so fast, sometimes I want very specific video or photo footage, but I can't always get it as immediately as I want to like fulfill the trends and get things up on social media. So also sometimes another thing I do is I work with influencers who come. So I work for the guide company, and it's sister companies with a ranch resort. So the guide company is located on the resort, and so people come stay there, and then they come do the adventures with us. So another part of my job is working with influencers to get them to come stay with us and experience everything, and then post about it. And sometimes working with influencers
it's hard.
Yeah, it can be tricky sometimes.
Are you speculating about IQs here? Or?
No. Just kind of you have to they say what they want and how much they want to be paid and what they want from you, and and then you kind of have to barter back and forth about what you can offer them and how much you can compensate them or not compensate them, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So you kind of have to come to an understanding about what you can actually give to them as a company. So
now you're moving. This is more like a sales manager position.
A little bit. I do. Yeah. I mean, I really do whatever my marketing manager needs me to do. So yeah, I do a little bit of everything. So
nice. Let's say, or actually I'm gonna ask you about this. Do you get people to ask you how is it in Vienna, and are they interested on moving here since you moved here? Do you get people interested?
Maybe not moving here, but I do feel like more people
visiting.
Yeah, and it kind of puts it on the map more in their minds, because I feel like in the US, not as many people are familiar with Austria. It's just not one of the first or like main European destinations they think of. So I definitely think it puts it on people's map. And yeah, we've had friends and family come visit, or other people I know who have come out. Yeah. So.
But what if, let's say, if someone tells you that they want to move to Vienna, or someone that is listening to you now wants to move to Vienna, what do you tell them? Both Americans or from other parts of the world? What do they have to keep in mind, in your opinion?
Yeah. I think, all in all, we've loved it. Like, totally recommend it. I don't, of course, wherever you move in the world, not even necessarily Vienna, there's of course lots to consider. The language barrier, especially for people coming, from like the US who probably don't speak any German. It seems like people who come from other countries in Europe, they already are bi or multilingual. And so learning German is like not even a big deal for them. They just like, oh yeah, I just speak another
just
language.
another language.
Yeah.
But
But
how is it this thing with Americans that they because it seems like you don't want to learn other language, because of course you can. You are humans as we are.
Right. I
Is it does it start from the kindergarten or at primary elementary school that there's something you're missing there that they don't teach you?
well, I really just don't. They just don't emphasize the importance of learning other languages. I mean,
Could this be because of everyone going out and yelling America is the greatest country in the world and making you think that you won't ever need some other language because you already live where you have to live?
right. I don't know. But yeah, it just doesn't seem as important for them to, yeah, I like maybe people just don't expect that they're going to need it because oh, everyone speaks English, or wherever you go, like there'll be someone who speaks English, which maybe that's true, but it
If
also
you're staying for 5 days, yeah, it's easy, but
right. So I do really wish that I had put more emphasis on it. And that's just the thing. Like I said earlier, I don't want to be that American that you just don't. I'm more self-conscious than that, so I want to be better. But
so that's what they have to keep in mind if they're going to move to Vienna.
Just like it. Just don't show up thinking, oh, they speak enough English there. Like I don't need to learn German. Like I think that's just, in general, not the mentality to have. Like if you're going to move to another country, learn the language, like learn the culture, immerse yourself in it, like make friends who are locals, not just expats, like, really get a feel for the country and appreciate it for what it is. And also like how you can kind of give back and be part of your community. I do think that's really important. What else?
Yeah, it sounds like the most important thing.
Yeah. I had something else, but I forget what it was. I'll tell you if I think of it.
You can text me.
Yeah.
Well, you can get to know Jo a little more and her travels with her husband on adventures, Jo Adventures on Instagram. Yeah. average.jo.adventures.
average.jo.adventures.
But I think also if they just search for Jo Adventures,
possibly
still you can show up.
Yeah, just average
or average Jo.
.adventures.
Jo, yes.
Jo. Yep.
I was speaking with Jo so far, and she's definitely the person, I mean, for my guest, the one that speaks English better than everyone else, because she's the first American to be in the podcast. Oh no, actually, now I have to say sorry to another guest that she's British, so you both speak perfect English.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot about it. And she actually worked for the UN, so
really?
You are kind of related somehow. Thank you very much. Yeah. I really, really appreciate you coming here from home this time.
Oh yeah, no worries.
And you are always welcomed here.
Thank you.
If you ever have something you want to say, if you have something you want to tell us regarding your blog, regarding your certificate as a personal trainer, and I really hope you start that, because it sounds very promising.
Yep.
And I've been in a gym in US before, and you guys are you motivate a lot. So I'd like to see you in a gym as a personal trainer, or not in gym, but as a personal trainer. Yeah. I think it would work.
Okay, you
should do something
motivated
about
me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.